Give me a moment. At right. Okay, I think we're recording now. That should be recording. Okay. So we are still in pre-launch, ladies and gentlemen. Now, what that means for us is that we're in pioneering moments, and that will be exciting. It will present its challenges, but ultimately it will be phenomenally rewarding. And I will remind you, some years ago, back in '02, I believe it was, I joined a company, Uncle Roo, that was in pre-launch. I didn't capture the vision, and because they were in pre-launch and they would have a little tech issue here or something like that, I jumped off the bandwagon and I decided to pursue other pursuits. I did very well in those other pursuits, Uncle Roo. 2-3 years later, I'm making 20 grand a month. I'm making 20 grand a month in my other pursuits, right? Not bad, not shabby.
Not bad.
My buddy, who was a part of the company where I jumped off the ship, he was one of the top leaders there, and he's the one that was responsible for me being there and so on and so forth. Well, when I was making 20 grand a month, 2-3 years later, he was making 200,000 a month because he had vision. I didn't have vision. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Louise, we're still in pre-launch. We're going to have, a bump in the road here and there, success and failure on the same road. Success is just a little bit further down the road. Here's some of the things the company's working on. This is the order that they gave them, and I just wanted to address these real quickly, and then we'll hand it over to Louise. Withdrawal request payment. Folks that want to be able to withdraw. I spoke with JC today. They had the script all ready to go. They started testing this weekend. It did not test out. There were some challenges there. But their main developer, as you can imagine, on the weekend, the main developer was not available to go in and go through the testing and see the bugs and squash the bugs. And so they certainly want to make sure that all bugs are squashed before they put up a withdrawal page. And what we don't want to have happen, Uncle Roo, if you remember early on, there were some people sending money from Solid Trust Pay into QL Reserve, and some of the funds didn't get there, and they were kind of held up. Now, they basically got it all worked out, but the script, whatever, those two systems weren't communicating just right. Well, we don't want to have a situation where you withdraw funds from QL Reserve into Solid Trust Pay, and it doesn't get the Solid Trust Pay, and now it's kind of held up in cyberspace somewhere. So they're wanting to make sure, obviously, that they've tested and tested and tested. So the gentleman who is running that part of the script or programming that part of the script or what have you in conjunction with Solid Trust Pay was not available this weekend, should be back in tomorrow. Doesn't mean it's going to be done tomorrow, but that's something they're certainly working on. Now, with that being the case, they're putting a huge emphasis on the automatic upgrade selector. So, Uncle Roo, I know we have some folks that their primary concern was they have some commissions, okay, and they definitely want to purchase out. They want to purchase Stage 2, Lesson 1, Stage 2, Lesson 2, Stage 2, Lesson 3, and 4, and so on and so forth. But they have a cash need now, and so they want to take some of those funds out. You made the commissions. It's totally yours to take out. And so what he's going to make sure is done, from what my conversation with him today was, before we do round two, that the automatic upgrade selector would be on. So if you have commissions and you're not ready to tell the system automatically upgrade me to Stage 2, Tier 4, Lesson 4, the $640 lesson. In other words, Uncle Roo, let's say you've got $300 sitting in your QL Reserve. I'm just throwing out numbers, okay?
Yep.
And you're fine with being automatically upgraded to the $80 lesson, and you're hoping that you'll have profits that will then upgrade you to the $160 lesson, or the $320, or what have you. But you are actually looking to pull out $100, just because you want to put cash back in your pocket. It's your money. Feel free to do so. Mm-hmm. Well, he wants to make sure that you can go in with that auto selector, even if the, even if the payment option isn't ready just yet. He wants to make sure you can go in and say, okay, I'm willing to get upgraded here or to Tier 2, but don't upgrade me to 3 or 4 just yet. I'll come back and manually do that after I've had a chance to withdraw. So hopefully everybody understands that, okay? So what they're working on is the withdrawal request piece. That's a priority. He talked about a redeem a key. Listen to the webinar so you can understand what redeem a key was. The automatic upgrade selector, so people can decide if the payment piece isn't ready, then he definitely wants to make sure this is done before they do a round 2 commission. He doesn't want to have a situation, once again, Uncle Roo, where you made profits from round 1. Your intent was to do some upgrading, but you also want to take some money out, and then all of your money goes to upgrade you to round 2. He wants to make sure that doesn't happen, okay? And then these are the other things that they're working on. Those of you that have sent out keys, some of you mentioned on a couple webinars that you sent out keys, but the person who was to receive it hasn't done anything. How do you retrieve the key? They are working on that. That's not, they know that's a top priority, but this withdrawal request and the automatic upgrade selector and round 2 commissions are really the top priorities. And once they get through those, then they'll get to the other things. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a part of business. That's just a part of business. That's a part of being pioneers. And let's have a long-range view. I pray that you won't be short-sighted like I was some years ago. I'll take 20 grand a month, Uncle Roo, like we were making at that time. But boy, if you'd have added a 0 to that, life would have been even sweeter, right?
Yeah. Ooh,
okay.
Boy.
All right. All right. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen,
yes,
we are so excited to have Louise Cardow from Australia as our special trainer. Louise, in less than 3 weeks, has personally sponsored over 135 folks. And what I'm really impressed with Louise, obviously that's a huge feat. That's just phenomenal. But I see her every day in the Skype chat room, and I see her, and I know she's several hours ahead of me. I think, what is it, Louise, 14 hours ahead of me? I know she's 14 hours ahead of where I am in the U.S. in terms of her time. And she's in there. I mean, she's on virtually all of our webinars. She's in that Skype chat room. She's giving. She's just a phenomenal leader, and we are so fortunate to have her as a part of our team and as a part of our family. With that being said, I'm going to turn things over to Louise. Louise, I'll be pulling up your PowerPoint here. Ladies and gentlemen, get up out of your seats, make riveting, rocketing. I want to hear you through the webinar noise for Louise Cardow.
Hey, all right. Hey.
Thank you very much, T. Lamont. That's definitely a really nice introduction. Hi, everybody. My name's Louise Cardow, and if you caught Uncle Roo and I having a little bit of a chat earlier, you'll know that you would have heard that I'm from a little beachside fishing village about 2 hours north of Sydney. And look, I've only been on the net for coming up to 2 years, and like when I first started, I'm like everybody else. I didn't know what I was doing or where to go to look for help, and that's why I like to help out so much, T. Lamont, is because I know what it was like for me when I first started. I didn't know where to look for help. I didn't have any idea. But my main type of internet marketing that I've been most successful in is actually in Safelist. Now, it's not the only form of marketing that I do, but it definitely gives me the best results, and that's what counts. This is an area that, you know, I find it a lot easier. Some people are good at some things, like, okay, T. Lamont, he prefers video marketing, and as we all know, he's extremely good at videos and webinars, and that's his strong point. And then you have Queen Twitter, who's got over 200,000 people following her. I mean, wow, that number is staggering, and I'm actually really looking forward to hearing how she's put this massive number together. But my strong point is Safelist marketing. But for you, you need to find what suits you. It could be video marketing, it could be Twitter or any other forms of social marketing. It could be articles and blogs, but whatever you usually like to do, you'll probably find you're better at doing. Safelist work for me, and they work for a lot of other people too, because I mean there's thousands upon thousands of Safelists out there. What I'm going to go through is just a few basic points, because when I actually started putting this webinar, this PowerPoint together, I'd never really sat back and thought about what I actually did, and it's amazing that there's actually a little bit more to Safelist marketing than I really thought about. Okay, so what is Safelist marketing? A Safelist is a list of members who have joined a site and have agreed to accept other members' emails, and you get credits for opening emails and clicking on the links, and those credits go into your account and you use them then to send off your BizOps. Okay, so one of the main problems with internet marketing is spam, and as we all know, spam, it's a big, big problem, especially with new people who don't understand the etiquette of marketing. I'm that way now, that if I receive an email, and if it's not from somebody that I know or one that I'm expecting, or a Safelist email where I'm going to be rewarded for opening and clicking it, I just don't bother. The rest is spam as far as I'm concerned, and I sort of like to simply delete them. And the thing is, everybody is wanting to see everybody's BizOps. These Safelists are actually lists already built for you. They're leads, they're fresh leads, and these people are already proven to sign up to programs. They're interested in programs. So, these are already pre-built lists, and they really do work. I've got
hey,
down
Louise,
there,
Louise, let me stop you there. There's something that I just heard. Sometimes it's heard. So I'm in the NFL club. No friends or family left. All right. Nobody wants to listen to my offers. I've come with them with 17 things in the last 16 days. None of them worked. You're telling me that when I'm marketing via Safelists, these are people that have proven to be the opportunity buyers or at least seekers, and they're looking at other people's offers, so they're probably in the business. Gotcha. Understand. When I say in the business, they're in the industry. Gotcha.
They're in the industry. They're doing what you're doing. They're trying to get their business ops out there. And so the thing about this is you need to stand out in the crowd to be noticed. And I'll go through that just a little tick. Okay, so would you like to just move that on to the next slide?
Okay, got you.
Thank you very much. These are just some statistics from a site called Email Marketing Metrics, and they just basically work on statistics devoted to email marketing. Now, one of the things that, if you're looking at this, that might surprise you is that smaller lists actually get opened more than emails in larger lists. Now, I've always suggested to my people that, look, you join the larger Safelists, especially if you're prepared to spend some dollars on your marketing. Purchasing solos that are going to go out to tens of thousands directly to their main email account will always, always, always bring you in a prospect. But these smaller Safelists, when a person is going through their Safelist to click for credits, it's not such a daunting task to click maybe, 20 or 30 emails compared to being confronted by tens of thousands of emails that you will get from some of these bigger Safelists. So, some smaller Safelists are really good to use, and the big ones, they're the good ones to use to purchase some solos if you know that they're actually going to go straight into that member's contact email address. So there's just a few little stats there. I mean, personalisation, it's always nice to call a person by their first name, and these Safelists in the scripts that they use actually have that that thing for you that you can insert the person's username, first name, whole name, and the best times to send emails. Now, that's Eastern Standard Time, but That's mainly because that's the majority of the market, but it doesn't mean that you don't send any other time. That's just, yeah, 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. Monday to Friday, and 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Times. They're the best times to send. So there's just a few stats to show you, and we'll just move on to the next slide. Okay, so yep, there's 3 different types, basically 3 different types of Safelist. You have your credit-based Safelist, your downline builders, and your basically a JV script. So my favourite is the credit Safelist. Now, what you're seeing here is just a simple shot of a back office. Credit Safelists are very, very straightforward. You have a credit mailer, and that's where your credits that you've gained through clicking on the links in the emails that have been sent to you, they will add up. And as you can see on the bottom there, it says credits. I've got 55,715 in there. Really, it doesn't take you that long. You know, it does not take you that long to sit down and click. And then, you know, for the next week, you can send out an email when you want it, which I do every morning. I do a minimum of around about 50 every morning. And with clicking, I can have those emails sent out to 50 different Safelists within an hour and a half. So it's all a matter of getting organised and getting used to doing it. And after that, it really doesn't take that long to do.
So let me stop you, Louise. Let me make sure we're understanding this. Okay. So
yep.
If I'm using a credit-based Safelist, what I'm doing is I'm agreeing to receive emails from other marketers, and in my opening up their email, I guess clicking maybe on a link or what have you, I get a credit so that then my offer can be sent to other marketers. Is that what we're doing with the Safelist? Exactly.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So let me back up for just a moment. A couple of years ago, what was very was hot on the internet for a spell were traffic. Well, they're still out there. Traffic exchanges where people would go in, they would view an offer, basically like a web page or what have you, or a lead capture page. They view it for a few seconds, and then every time they viewed someone else's page, they would then get a credit so that their page could be viewed. Is that kind of the same thing that's happening here, only it's happening via email?
It is very similar to a TE in that respect, but one of the major points about that is I might get 1,500 credits per email that I see, whereas a TE will only, some of the TEs will only give you, you have to look at 3 other pages before you get 1 credit. So, and the response that I found from this compared to TEs, I think, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, that TEs are extremely good for branding yourself because a lot of people surf TEs. But as far as results have shown me, Safelist marketing is way above TEs for results.
Okay. 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 All right.
Great.
Go on. I'm sorry. I interrupted you.
No, that's great. Because I tend to go a little bit quick. I've got ADHD and I've got to keep on moving. So slow me down any time. If you want to move on to the next slide, the next slide is about the second favourite of my Safelist is a downline builder. And like, as you can see, these are fairly similar. They limit you basically to the amount of emails that you are able to send out depending on your level of membership. Now, you can be a free member, and then say, for example, you might only be able to send 1,000 emails to every 3 or 4 days, whereas the credit-based Safelists, you are able to normally send 1 email to the whole list. Now, that can be up to, 35,000 people, right? But these downline builders limit you in a respect, but they're also very good because they are what the name says. They're a downline builder, and within that script, you can build multiple businesses and build your downlines in them as well. You know, most of the downline builders that I use, I can usually send an email, a credit through the system mailer, a credit email that I've earned the credits for every 3 days, and I might be able to send them to 1,000 to 3,000 people. So that sort of like limits the amount of emails that people receive as well. But they're quite responsive as well. So the next slide that we have is what they call a JV script. Now these are a dime a dozen, and you'll see them everywhere on the net. They have a few more options in different types of advertising and not just emails. Most of these have a small number of members. Because there's so many of them, you know, you might join one. It might only have, you know, 300-400, but that's okay too. As we explained earlier, the click rates in the smaller ones are quite higher than the click rates or the openings in the larger Safelist. What they're doing with these at the moment, they're joining quite a few of them together. So the owner of a Safelist can actually join a group, for a better want of word, of other Safelists, so that group of Safelist owners will then send all your emails to that whole group. And you can purchase these solos. But the problem here is, if everybody is purchasing these solos, who is seeing your bizop? Who is seeing what you have to offer, right? Everyone's buying them, making a lot of money for the people that own these sites. But no one's looking at your offer because they're just buying it. And this is where it comes back down to the credit-based Safelist. Even though it's a bit of a pain having to click all the time and open up and click, you are still seeing other people's business ops, and that means they're seeing yours. And, you know, my idea of it is that if it's a pain having to click, absolutely, but I'm after results, and if I have to jump through hoops to get results, I ask how high.
So let me ask you. So we've covered the three forms. The credit-based, the one before was the downline builder, and then this one is the JV script. You prefer the credit-based, if I'm understanding correctly.
Yes.
And give me an idea of you are, and this may be, I may be ahead of you, and if I am, just let me know. Did I hear you say that to get the results that you are getting? Let me back up for a moment. You personally sponsored 135 folks. How many? Maybe a percentage, if you would you say has come from Safelist marketing?
95%.
95%?
Yes.
Now, were some of these folks that you Safelist marketed previously, and they've been following you, and so now when you said one SQL Exchange, they jumped on board because now they've gotten to know you, or are most of these folks like brand spanking new? You didn't know them, they didn't know you.
90% of them would be people that I've never met before.
Are you serious?
Yes. But see, this is and yeah, we're getting a little bit further. I'll go through some more details about that sort of thing a little bit, yeah. But yes, you put yourself out there on these Safelists, and if people keep seeing you, your image, your name, people start taking more notice of you, and they start watching what you're doing and what you're promoting. So the more that you do it, the more that you put yourself out there, the more that you're known. The what is it? Web 2.20. The more they know, like, and trust you and follow you. Yeah.
I understand. Gotcha. You want me to go on to the next slide, or you want to stay here?
Yeah, go on to the next slide. But yes, please. But credit-based Safelists are the best, basically because people just aren't, spending money buying a solo and sending it out there and not seeing anything. at least with credit-based Safelist, they have to look at your business op. You have to look at theirs, and
Gotcha.
that's where it, that's where it all works. So the hints and tips for basically, you always need a Gmail account, specifically set aside for Safelist, because you will get tens of thousands of emails. And make sure it's a Gmail account, because most of them don't take anything else. When you set up that Gmail account, you always use a filter, and because you're going to get so many emails from so many different, like I'm probably in around about 250 Safelist, right? And
okay.
So if you label them and filter them, it keeps your whole Gmail account organized, and it makes it just so much easier. You might want to go into a specific Safelist to get some credits. Well, you know where they are. And I always get asked, how do you make your email stand out from the rest? Well, I use a lot of white space in mine. The eye is naturally drawn to something that's a little bit different or unique. If you have your email starting, 5 or 7 spaces down from the top of the page, and then more towards the middle of the page, it's different than the last one, because most people always have their emails on the left-hand side, basically in plain text. And unless you make your email and your splash pages stand out, then it's just another email. No one's going to pay any attention to it, right? So this is another reason why you use bullet points. You don't go writing huge articles and sending it as an email. Leave that for articles and blog posts. Bullet points, straight to the point, 5 or 7 best features of whatever program that you're promoting. The shorter, more to the point that your email is, the more it's going to grab the prospect's attention, and the more it raises their curiosity, the better. So, and that comes back down to coloured text as well. Where possible, use the HTML coloured text. It makes people, it stands out to their eyes. When people are clicking through Safelist, they're not going to read your email, really, unless you can make it stand out and grab their attention or give them curiosity. They're just going to click it and close it, click it and close it. So this is the whole point. It's consistency and standing out from the crowd. And that's where your intriguing subject lines come from. If you don't have an intriguing subject line that's going to make them stop and think, it's just the same. It's going to be, ignored and just gone on to the next email. So you really have to think about your subject lines. If you ask a question, that's usually fairly good. Ask them a question, or start a topic and then just let it drift off. Like I often use, if a 2x7 business owner, successful business owner told you ... Now that gets people's imagination going, and they wonder who this business person is, and what would it be that he could be telling me. Things like that stand out from the crowd. And spam, always check spam. Always check spam. It's if you don't check your spam, it's definitely a surefire way to have your email sent straight to trash, and that's just a waste. So
let's stop here for just a moment. Let's stop here for just a moment so folks really get this part here. This is why sometimes in some of our posts, some people will say, you misspelled money, because I spell it M-U-N-N-Y. Well, that's because if you spell M-O-N-E-Y, a lot of your spam filters are going to just send that right to trash, and your recipient won't see it. So this is when it says be careful of spam. First I was thinking, well, I thought that was the whole issue of the Safelist. There is no spam. Oh, there we go. If I'm using words like money and I don't make some changes there, the spam filters, the spam police are going to arrest me and throw my emails into the trash can. So this is what you mean by this, right?
Exactly. Straight to trash, and it's all waste then. So you really need to, especially in your subject lines, never use dollar. dollar signs or capitals, because the Gmail filter on your inbox is just going to send them straight to spam.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Guys, make sure you're making these notes here, okay? Even though we have this recorded, make sure you're jotting these down or you're typing these down or what have you, so you know things that you want to do when you to get your email standing out from everyone else's. Hey, I will tell you this. I used a let me tell you a subject line I used once upon a time, Louise, that got a bunch of opens. Check this one out. We buy dirty diapers. Someone told me that, right? And I was like, well, yeah, I'm going to click on that just to see what the heck they're talking about. So I tried it. We buy dirty diapers, and I got a bunch of people opening it up because they wanted to know what that meant. And then I went on to say something like, if you've been sold a bunch of crap, you know, in this industry, we buy dirty diapers. And I went into my little ad copy there. But intriguing subject lines, you know, come up with something, guys. Have fun with it. Is there a way, Louise, when you're doing these, that you can track what's happening, so you can see what subject lines are starting to pull?
Yes, always track your results. And the good thing about Safelist is that you will find most of them will give you a hit rate. So it will tell you, you know, your email has been sent out to 35,000 people and it was opened, you know, 1,500 times. So if you keep trying different intriguing subject lines, but with the same email, you will start seeing the difference. And there are trackers on the net that you can get for free. So track each one. Make sure, you know, it's always interesting to see the stats and what works and what doesn't. And always go for what works because, you know, it's all a learning curve. But if you find intriguing subject lines like the one that you just spoke of then, Telemont, you know, put them down, write them down. And if you're going through a Safelist and something sticks out at you, write it down. Don't copy it exactly. Tweak it a little bit to suit you. But if it stuck out to you, then it might stick out to somebody else as well.
So stop. Let me just tell you something I just heard too. Since in the Safelist you are receiving emails from folks, you're clicking so that you can get credits, we should also be paying attention to some of the subject lines that caught our attention, that intrigued us. If it was enough to intrigue you, then chances are it's enough to intrigue other folks. And so either, remember, guys, there's nothing new under the sun. So whether you took that or you modified that a little bit or what have you. So in our Safelist, we're also going to be, we should be able to start picking up some ideas of some intriguing subject lines if you're not as creative as maybe some other folks out there.
Exactly. And also in the emails, I mean, you're opening and clicking emails for the link down the bottom. I very, very, very rarely even look at the email. I do it so quickly that it's just open, link clicked, close, open link. But sometimes some things stick out at me. And I go, okay, now what made me stop then? What is so different about that that made me stop and actually look? And take notice of these things, because if it does it for you, then it's probably going to make somebody else stop and look too.
Gotcha.
And consistency. Look, I can't emphasize this more. It's consistency that makes this successful. You know, being consistent is one of the biggest pieces of the marketing puzzle. And this is what most network marketers, they fail to do, be consistent in their marketing. Look, you need to send out your emails every day. If you do it, this simple or easy task, you will be more effective than 95% of your competition. Sometimes it's just a numbers game. And if you keep on sending them out, repeatedly sending them out, then when that person opens their email box and that particular Safelist, and they start going, oh, there's another one of Louise's. Oh, there's another one of Louise's. Oh, there's another. Who do you think they're going to pay attention to? Who do you think they're going to go, oh, there's another one of hers, and there's another one of hers? Send them out every day. If you do this every day, look, you won't have trouble. But some people think, oh, well, I've joined 3 Safelists. I've seen out, you know, that one had 35,000 in it, and that one had 10,000 members in it. That must be enough. Could not be further from the truth. And another point is, an average person has to see your business op 7 to 12 times before they even decide to look at it, you know. So consistency is a major, major, major factor.
We ready for the next slide?
Yep.
Okay. All right, guys, so hopefully you caught all that, guys. We've got that up there for quite some time. We're moving on. What do you mean by quality, by the way?
The quality of different safe lists is they're not all the same. You know, as I said, there's three major ones, the three major scripts. But if you track your results, you will come back to see that they're not all the same, and that the credit-based safe lists work the best.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
Okay. Look, branding yourself is so important. It's one of the major parts of any type of marketing. Okay, so you've got them to open your email. Great, all right. But if they do like I do, and I'll open an email, click the link, close it, open another one, click the link, and I might have about 30 tabs open. Because they're all have to open for a set amount of time, by the time I click about 30 of them, they usually run out of time. And then I can just go close, 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 close. So if your splash page or capture page does not grab my attention, their email was just a waste anyway. You need to have something that's original, you need to have your image on it, and you need to be, it needs to stand out. Everything needs to stand out in the crowd. If you don't stand out in the crowd, you're going to get lost in it. So this is a major, major part of it. Look, it's so easy to make your own splash pages. My splash pages are just made from a free download called a What You See Is What You Get HTML editor. Free, right? Just play with it, play around with it, and do something original, because it's the originality and branding yourself that's going to make people stop and notice, oh, there you are again, and there you are again. Oh, there's that person again. Oh, I wonder what that person's doing now. Ah, look at that, that's what they're promoting. So, and you keep doing this and they keep seeing you, then they're going to really start taking a lot more notice of you.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Number 2, where are you sending visitors to?
Now, would you prefer to see an original splash page, or would you say prefer to send them to something like the front page of QXL? QLX, that's just not going to do it. The only time you send a person to the front page of QLX is when that person is already interested in it and ready to sign up. Right? Give them bullet points on a splash page, get their curiosity going, but it's not going to stand out from the crowd. There's nothing on that page that stands out from the crowd. So if you don't make it original and make it yourself, or get somebody to make it for you, then sending your prospects to a plain page is just not going to get you any prospects at all.
Gotcha, gotcha. Number 3 here, huge. Build your list. Talk to me about that. Talk to me about that.
Build your list. When you're sending people to the front page of your BizOp, you're sending them straight to somebody else's list. Okay? Yes, they might be in your downline, but they're not in your list. So always, if possible, have a capture page. So it's capturing there. You get their attention. And by getting their attention, they're willing to fill in their email and give you their email address. Then you form a relationship with those people. And that's your list. So build your list. Don't send them to the front page of any site. And then you've got your tracking. You need to know what is working for you. And always go free. Free is always good. Look, there's thousands upon thousands upon thousands of safe lists out there. And 99% of them are offering free advertising. Grab it. Use all the free advertising you can. And then, if you don't like it, move on to the next one. Free advertising works great.
Give me a moment. Okay.
And that's about it. I think that was, there's a lot more to Safelist marketing than I really realised, but that's a brief overview of some of the main points. So.
Are you hitting this last
Yep.
piece here?
Yep. Why can't I recruit? It comes back to that point that, if you're only joining up through Safelist, it's just not enough. It's just not enough. And there you've got your stats, So if Safelist has a member number of 10,000, stats say that less than 1% or 0.5 will even open your email. And that means that less than 500 will open it. Stats say that less than 5% will even consider it. So now you're down to 250 probably out of 10,000 people who may see it. So your stats say that these people will need to see it 7 times before they even consider it. And that percentage, it gets smaller and smaller. So this shows you that consistent promoting every day is what's going to really bring you results, not just one email here and one email there. But if you do it consistently, you get results.
Yeah, it sounds like that there is no one magic potion. If you are building Twitter, why does Queen Twitter have 200,000 people following her? Because she's consistently building her Twitter following. If you are marketing with Safelist, why has Louise had 135 people join her, 90% of those coming from Safelist? Because she's consistently marketing with Safelist. Why do I get phone calls or Skypes or emails? Because of my video marketing, because I consistently add new content, put new content up on YouTube, so on and so forth. So it doesn't matter what your medium is, and it doesn't have to just be one. Consistency, ladies and gentlemen, is the key. Now, we know with the Safelist, from what you're telling us, Louise, the percentage of people that are actually going to join is relatively small, but you're employing the law of large numbers. Remember, the law of averages only works when we employ the law of large numbers. So, Louise, if I'm flipping a coin, 50% is going to be heads, 50% is going to be tails. I flip it 4 times. I have no idea how many heads I'm going to get. I have no idea how many tails I'm going to get. If I flip it 4,000 times, I can just about tell you 2,000 heads, 2,000 tails. Now, let me ask you this. You mentioned that roughly how many Safelists are you a part of now?
I have around about 70 main ones. Some get sent out. Some get sent out every day. Some get sent twice a day. Some get sent every 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th day. So I am minimum sending out around about 50 to 60 a day. And as I said earlier, look, I timed myself this morning. I had to do some clicking to get some credits back up. But I sent out all those emails, around about 75 this morning, and it took me an hour and a half. It's organisation, getting organised, getting yourself set up into a routine. You do it the first thing in the morning, you get it over and done with, and then the rest of the day you can do whatever, your social networking, your Twitter following, or whatever. But if you do it every day, get yourself into a routine and organised, it really doesn't take that long.
Okay, now so let's back up here. So you sent out to roughly how many lists already?
Around about 75 this morning.
About 75 lists. That took you about an hour and a half. Okay.
Yeah.
And do you have any idea, and I know I'm putting you on the spot, how many, I know you don't, how many emails would that impact?
Oh, that would, that would have probably been a couple of 100,000.
Okay. So your offer gets sent out to a couple 100,000 people today. We know the law of averages say, only a small percentage of folks are going to click and then go to your site and actually join, but you did a 200,000. You don't need a whole lot. You did 200,000, and you did that today, and you'll do it tomorrow, and you'll do it the next day because you're being very consistent. Now, with these safe lists, your main 50 to 70 or so, are these systems that you pay to be a part of? Are they free, or is there a combination? Some are free, some are not free. How does that work for those of us that are building with a budget?
I always join free. If you can get it free, then do free. Free is always good. If you're finding you're getting results from a particular safe list, and you won't know unless you do your tracking, then look what the safe list is offering as compared to free as to an upgraded member. The benefits usually are you get a higher amount of credits to click, which means less clicking. You might be able to get a solo thrown in for that membership as well, and that's usually a solo to the whole membership site. And I'm talking, some of these membership sites have 35 to 100,000 people. Now, if you can get one of those solos into a contact email address of that many people, you will pick up prospects. I would probably spend about, you know, $50 a month on paid solo advertising, but every single time I do, I get results. I always get a couple of prospects when I do that. When I just send out normal emails, as I did today, I pick up around about 5 a day. But if I send them purchase special solos that go to their contact email address, I could probably double that.
Good stuff, good stuff, good stuff. Louise, I know there's quite a few questions in queue. Before we get to those questions, is there anything else that you would have us to consider with Safelist marketing?
I think consistency, tracking, and making yourself and your business ops stand out different from the crowd. If you're willing to do those, you know, sit down and join these safe lists, it might, you know, it's like there's one more slide I think there is, Telemont.
I'm sorry, what was that last part, Louise?
I think there's one more slide.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay. You know, Safelist marketing works. And it's like I say, if I have to jump through hoops to get results, then I'll ask how high do you want me to jump? Because it's results. You know, I'm here to build a business, and I want this business to work. I'm not going to sit back and go, oh, I don't like clicking emails. It's a boring job. Right. So I'll just go and do something else. And I'll, you know, that's just wasting time, you know, like, if you know it works and you can get yourself organized, then do it. You know, if you want your business to succeed, you need to put the effort into it.
Ladies and gentlemen, keep in mind, Louise is at least on my team that I know of, is the #1 personal recruiter right now. But the funny part is, Louise, you were beating me by a little bit. You were beating me by a little bit, and then all of a sudden you just took off. I mean, I thought we were doing good at about 70, 80 personal referrals, and here you are at 135. My goodness.
Well, my goal's 2,000, Telemont.
You are doing it. You are absolutely doing it. Are you ready for some questions?
Absolutely.
Okay, give me just a moment. All right, give us a moment, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll get into some questions here. Let's see here. By the way, in your bottom right-hand corner, this is where you can post questions for Louise. Be mindful that Louise is also in our Skype chat room. Now, just be mindful, guys, that she's building a business too. So I know a lot of you want to get information. Let's just be very respectful over time if you see her in the Skype chat room and things of that nature. All right. Let's see here. I believe it's Tori. Is it Eklund or Eichland? Tori, that maybe based on your situation, I'm not sure what that situation is as it relates to the clicking. that might not be the best marketing strategy for you. Remember, guys, we're going to introduce you to a number of different marketing strategies. For instance, my strategy of choice is video marketing. I found out that I'm pretty good in front of the video. I like connecting with people, da-da-da-da-da. That works really good for me. But just like Safelist marketing, it has its sweat equity.
Not suited for everybody. Everything is not suited for everybody.
Sure.
You need to find what suits you and what you like to do and what you're good at. And if you're good at it, you'll probably find that you're, you will be good at doing it and you will have success. But not everything, this won't be for everybody. You might be better off at blogs or forums or things like that, or like T. Lamont is brilliant at webinars and videos. But, this is, as T. Lamont said, this is just another form of advertising. And if you can learn some basics of it, then you might be able to pick up on it. And once you pick up on a few of the hints and tips, you might find it works for you. But it's not for everybody.
Louise, Linda is asking, so are you saying that Safelist with smaller amounts of members are best?
No. I said they are good and they have a higher click-through rate, but the large safe lists, 35,000, 45,000, if you're able to be a member in one of those and have a solo sent out to that membership, either through purchasing it or with the membership that if you upgrade in that particular site and you get a solo for upgrading once a month or something, definitely worth it. Absolutely, definitely worth it, because getting it to some of those, the credit-based safe lists will ask you for 2 emails. They'll ask you for an email address to send the list to, because there are so many of them. Then they'll ask you for an email address, a contact address. Now, if you can get a solo to that contact address, that means that's going into that person's main email address. And that's the ones that you really need to try and get to.
So let me ask you, when you're setting up your safe list and you're setting up for your information, now I need to have a separate standalone Gmail account from my regular Gmail account in order to receive these emails that I'm going to be getting from others, because I don't want to have tens of thousands in my regular email box. What
Exactly.
are you using when you use? What are you using for your contact? Are you using your regular email address for your contact? Or how are you doing that?
I do, and this is why I don't find it that hard with clicking, because these type that actually ask you for your contact email, I have them coming into my email, my main email address. And yes, I might wake up and I'll find 2 pages of things that I've got to click through, but that only takes me 5 minutes. And if I keep on going back to my email, back to my main email address, and I click when they come in, I might stop for 5 minutes in what I'm doing and I'll look at my main email address. A few in there needs to be clicked, I click. And what that does, that gives me enough credits every single day, so that when I wake up, the first thing I do is send out emails. And I know I can send out emails to all of those particular safe lists because I've already done the clicking. It just makes it so much easier. It really does. It suits me. It suits the way I do my work, that's all.
You're having some folks that want to see like a sample of an email that maybe you've sent out for 1X. Would you be okay if you maybe send a sample to me and I send it out in our list so people can kind of get a sense of the type of content? Would that be okay with you?
Absolutely, not a problem at all.
Okay. All right. So who asked me? Hey, Dorothy, just make sure you're part of 1x.tlamont.com, and we will send that out just as soon as Louise gets us that. Probably in tomorrow's post we'll send that out, okay? Let's see here. Give me a moment, Mark. I'm seeing your question here. Mark from Israel. Do you send the same body of the email? Mark is asking, do you send the same body of the email with maybe different subject lines, or are all the body of the emails different also?
Well, I find that when I first join the site, I have set ideas about it. But, you know, a week later I might think, well, I'm going to change that email a little bit and just tweak it here and tweak it there. So, yes, I might send out the same email to all of the lists for 3 or 4 days with the subject line, maybe still the same subject line if I'm getting a really good return from it. Or I'll just, you know, 3 or 4 days later I might just tweak it a little bit, change it a little bit, might even just change the colour of the text here and there. So that, because when you keep seeing the same thing over and over and over again, you stop seeing it. So you need to just make it, just change it that little bit, and so it's not the same all the time, and it'll stick out in their you know, people will notice it a little bit more. It's all about getting that notice. It's all about grabbing the person's attention.
Okay, okay. Dorothy is asking, those 50 emails are individuals. I'm not sure when you said 50 emails. Let's make sure that people understand. With a safe list, you are receiving emails to this separate Gmail account that you set up. You are receiving emails. You're clicking onto emails, so you have the opportunity to see other people's offers. For that, you're getting credit, so that then you can send out your email to other folks that are in that safe list. They're doing the same to get credit so that they can send out their offers. They're opening up people's emails. And now this is where you're saying, let's stand out amongst the crowd. Let's use white space. Let's use some HTML color to kind of grab their attention. So that's what, Dorothy, what's happening is you are sending these emails out via the safe list. They're getting to individuals. Is that correct, Louise?
Yes. And when it comes to the 50, I think that come back into a conversation of the 50 that I send out every morning. They're 50 different sites is what I meant there.
Gotcha.
50 different safe list sites. So 50 to 75 every morning I open them, and it really is just a simple copy and paste. I have a safe list. One of the JV safe lists, they actually have a very, very good HTML editor in the safe list. So what I do, some of them hold up to 20 different HTML emails in there for you. So what I do is I keep all my promotions in one of the JV safe lists, so that I open that up every morning. All my promotions are on the one page. I can take them down, I can edit them, and then from there on, it's basically a simple copy and paste, send off, copy, paste, send off. And then sometimes you don't even need to do that, because you can save in each safe list. You can save your solos, so that the next time you open that safe list to send off that email, it's already there. So all you've got to do is click the button send. It's very simple once you get used to it and get it organized.
So Dorothy, I was wrong there. That 50 was going to the 50 different email or safe lists, 50 to 75. That then comprises what Louise was saying earlier, is that's probably about 200,000 emails that get sent out on her behalf. Now think about this, guys, all right? Think about this. One of my mentors, Louise, taught me years ago. He said, when you're building this type business being a home business, networking business, leverage space where you can recruit others, sponsor others, so on and so forth. When you're building this type business, it never pays you like a job. Early on, you're putting forth effort, and you can't say, well, next Friday I'm going to get paid this amount of money from the effort I put in this week. And he said, so your business never pays you like a job, but if you're consistent with it and you approach it like a job, in that if you were working a job and you had 8 hours that you were working, well, you do that in your business. One of my mentors taught me to be full-time at being part-time. Give me just a moment. Let's put some of these up here. These are some great things that we've learned over the years. One of my mentors said, be full-time at being part-time. Now, what you just told me, what you said in this discourse, Louise, is you spend about an hour and a half a day doing your safe list marketing. And, I mean, that sounds like that's pretty consistent, that's pretty standard, so on and so forth. So whether, ladies and gentlemen, you've got an hour and a half a day or an hour or 30 minutes or what have you, the key is is to be full-time at being part-time. Now, this is what I would strongly challenge all of you to do, whether you're doing Safelist marketing, whether you're doing YouTube marketing, whether you're doing Facebook marketing, Skype, whatever your medium or mediums of choice are. When you are doing that, put blinders on, treat it like a job. In other words, I can tell you, Louise, when I'm about to go and do some video marketing, okay, or maybe it is cutting a video, maybe it's editing a video, guess what I do? I take my phone off, the voicemail will pick it up, or I already have a message on mine saying, the best way to reach me is Skype or email. I'm turning off my Skype, all right, and I'm focused for that 30-minute time frame, that hour time frame, that hour and a half time frame, just like it was a job. Because my mentor taught me, if you treat it, early on, you treat this like a job, okay? You treat it like a job with every bit of seriousness as you would your job that you may have right now. But he said this, it'll never pay you like a job. Louise, early on, you're putting all this effort in, and you're like, gosh, when is it going to pay off? And then down the road, you're doing the same stuff. You're not spending any more time, and then you're wondering, where's all this money coming from? Louise, I can tell you, when I remember when I built my first team to multi-thousands, a first team to where I started making 10 grand a month or more. When I started making 20 grand a month with that company, I was not working any harder than I was when I was making 2,000 a month or 200 a month. I wasn't working any harder. I had a lot more people on my team, but I wasn't working any harder.
But working better.
Exactly. Exactly. We were just consistent. And you have to allow, something else one of my other mentors said, you have to allow your efforts time enough to compound.
Yes.
Okay? All right. Consistency. Let's go to our next question here. Everybody got that one. Brian Spencer's asking, what is a solo? You mentioned a solo ad a couple times. What is a solo?
Okay. In different types of Safelist, when you click for credits, that's basically giving you enough credits to send an email out. Now, a solo is just one step above that. This solo may be the one that actually goes into a person's contact email address. Different Safelists call them different things. There can be solos, there can be super solos, and then there can be, special solos that go to a whole group of Safelists. But that's basically all the same thing. It's just an email that gets sent to a particular area.
Okay. Robert is asking about tracking. Robert's saying, listen, that's one of my challenges is tracking all of this. Help us out when you talk about tracking and maybe some of the organizational things that you have in place so that we can be organized as we do some Safelist marketing.
Okay. Coming onto that organization, one of the main things that I have organized is on the top of my browser, I have bookmarks, and it's called Safelist. Now, when I click on that, a drop-down box comes, and I've got in folders saying twice a day, every second day, third day, fourth day, fifth, right up to every 10 days. And in each of those folders is those particular Safelists that get sent out on that particular time span. So I could be opening up the daily ones now, and I'll send them off today. Tomorrow I'd open up the daily ones, but I'd also open up the ones that get sent every second day. It's just a right click and open all tabs, and if you have them saved at the members login page, not the front page of the Safelist, but the members login page of the Safelist, when you right click it and open all tabs, all those Safelists are going to come right up, right where you log in, and it's just a click to open it up. Just these little time-saving things you'll learn as you go along. As for tracking, a lot of the Safelists have some tracking within that particular Safelist. They'll tell you how many emails are sent out, and they'll also tell you how many clicks you've got. But you can do your own tracking. There's many different free programs on the net that you can use to track your click-through rates and things like that. Just Google it, you'll find them.
Okay? And guys, remember, Google is going to be one of your best friends, because on some of these, like tracking and things of that nature, obviously it's very difficult to cover every piece on a webinar like this. But Google will be one of your best friends in terms of Googling some of the information you have here. Someone was asking about Safelist. Not sure where to go with Safelist. Would I just Google Safelist?
I have a whole, the ones that I use, my favorite ones are in my site, but look for credit-based Safelist, and once you start working in the Safelist, you will see that 50% of the things that are advertised by other members within the Safelist are other Safelists. So you will see other Safelists once you start. And then just have a look at the Safelist, see if it's a credit-based Safelist or a downline builder, and then have a look at the member numbers. And remember, try and make it half and half. Some you want the really big high numbers, but you also want some small numbers as well.
Gotcha. Okay. I believe it's Tori. Tori, I just saw your post there about the tip on the Gmail accounts. Please. Yeah, please give us that tip, buddy, if you haven't already done so, okay? Let's see here. Christine is asking, with a lot of these folks that came aboard, did you give keys away, or did you just outright sponsor them without having to give them a key? And I guess that would certainly be a question for folks who maybe have budgeted to give away 10 keys, but maybe aren't necessarily budgeted to give away 40 or 50 right now.
Yep, okay. I started off with my own $5. I brought some people in, and then I set aside, like the Club 100, I set aside $100, and I brought keys. Now, when I brought some new members in, when I first started promoting 1X, I was not promoting the keys. It was a splash page with my image on it, with some bullet points telling about the best features of 1X. Now, most of those people that first came in bought their own $5. Now I am basically only promoting a capture page that says, I will give you a key, right? Now what I'm finding is some people, yes, would like that free $5 position, and I'm more than welcome to give it. But I'm also finding some that still come in on that capture page, they see it's only $5. So they go ahead and upgrade themselves. So I'd say my percentage for the 135 people that I've brought in, I think I've sponsored, I've paid forward probably around about 30 or 40 at the max. So
the majority, even though it was there, the majority of folks have already purchased their own upgrade.
Yes. Because once they get in there, they realize it is only $5, you know. I think a lot of them are more after, you know, if they sign up into my capture page, they're more after the information about what's happening and the little tidbits that I give them in my autoresponder.
Okay. By the way, you're getting quite a bit of kudos here. People saying how awesome you are. You're gonna make sure that T. Lamont has to go on an unemployment line, because we never want to hear from him again because you're so awesome. I love you guys just the same. Yeah, that's why we wanted Louise to come on here, okay?
You've got to understand that I'm only briefly going over all the, when I started putting this presentation together, I didn't realize how much that I had learnt by doing Safelist marketing. So, you know, what we've gone over, just some of the basic points.
Hey, and listen, guys, once again, you know, Margaret Wilson is saying that she's learned a lot from Louise about Safelist marketing. Now, we want to be respectful of this, but this is one of the reasons why you definitely want to be a part of our Skype chat room, okay? If you, obviously you can check with your 1X sponsor. They may already be a part of our Skype chat room, and they can add you, okay? If your sponsor is not in Skype or what have you, if you will add me, I'm GIFPM, GIF-PM, that's my username, and just let me know that you're in 1X. If you don't let me know you're in 1X, I won't add you to the chat room, because a lot of people, because of how we promote, will find me and they'll want me to add them. I'm only going to add people to the 1X room if I know you're in 1X. Okay. So if you come into the 1X chat room, you get a chance to. Louise is there quite often. People like Margaret Wilson, who now has been implementing some of the Safelist strategies. You're going to learn a lot through there, and you're going to get a lot of assistance there, okay? At the same time, just be mindful, all right, that Louise and Margaret and Amber Jones and all these other great leaders out there that avail themselves in the Skype chat room, they're also building their own businesses as well. So just be mindful of that. You know, do as much as you can with the information they've given you. In other words, Louise, one of the things we want to make sure is that we're not having an adult babysitting camp. And all right, so
yes.
You know, here's the thing: with Safelist marketing, I come here and I get this information, and then I need to go and I need to go to Google and study and find Safelist. Now, someone was asking, with Safelist, how do you know what's a good Safelist and what is not? I don't know if there's anything such as a legit Safelist or a non-legit Safelist. What are you looking for before you join the Safelist?
I look for, well, I don't join many good ones. I'm sort of like I'm in most of the good ones now. So, but once you start with one Safelist, you will see other Safelists being shown all the time. Now, if you can look for a credit-based Safelist with a good number of people, and I'm talking about something like, anything from 2,000 and over, then you're sure to get a good response from those. A lot of those, actually, some of those particular Safelists, the credit-based Safelists that have around about 2,000 to 6,000 members, you can get what they call a list solo. You can purchase a list solo, and what this is just a little bit. When people open these list solos, they get just a few more credits than opening a normal solo. So your email is usually open before the rest of them. Now, some of these, if you get into a good one, you can pick some of these credit-based Safelists up that might only charge you $1.50. Now, that's not going to a contact email address. It's going into the rest of the list where all the other emails go. But it will be called a list solo. And once you learn that these list solos actually give you, maybe 100 or 200 or 300 extra credits, you will find they're the first ones that get open. Now, if you're sending a list solo to around about, 2,000-3,000 people, and they're going to be looking for that list solo to open first because they get higher credits, and it only costs you $1.50, I think that's a good investment.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So a lot of the things that you're going to be learning in terms of marketing strategies are going to be free and or very low cost. And typically if you're doing free, then just understand there's some sweat equity there, and this is where you're going to be consistent. All right, whether you're doing Safelist marketing or Twitter marketing. By the way, just as an announcement, this coming Tuesday at 10:15 p.m. Eastern, so after our regular 1X presentation webinar, Queen Twitter is going to begin a series, and I don't know if it's going to be a 2-week series, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, I'm not sure, of Twitter. So what I want you to do, obviously you're here at Safelist, I want you to go on out, start Googling, looking at Safelist, joining Safelist, seeing if that style of marketing is going to be something you're going to be able to commit to as being consistent. Once again, keep in mind, Louise has personally recruited 135 folks. My gosh.
So
in less than 3 weeks.
It works, but you have to be consistent. And I am so looking forward to, I'm going to definitely be there when Queen Twitter is talking about how she built that a massive amount of people in her following. I'm really looking forward to that too. But if you don't mind me saying so, T. Lamont, when I first started on the internet, and I told you at the beginning of this that, I didn't even know anybody that was doing this. I didn't know where to look or anything like that. So what I have done is I have set up a site, a free site, that everything that I do is in that site. Now, anyone can join it. My tips, there's a whole heap more tips, marketing tips on a total different range of different ways of marketing. There's Safelist in there if you want to join them up. I've listed my the ones that I think are the best. A whole heap of training videos just to help you out, because I know what it was like for me not having...
What's that URL?
Togetherweearn.com. I didn't know where to look for help. I didn't know where to find the help. I didn't really know what help I needed. I just knew I needed help, but I didn't find it. And so what I've done is every time I learn something, every time I find a good site, every time I learn something for free, you know, like the HTML editor to make your own splash pages, all that's listed in my site. So everything that I do is in that site. And everyone is most welcome. And
that is a really nice looking site too.
Thank you. I'm on the chat box there as well every day that I'm on the computer. So I'm on Skype, I'm on the chat box in Together We Earn, and I'm doing my marketing at the same time. So, but everything that I do is in there. All the hints, the tips, and probably a lot more than what I've just given you today.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, let's get back to questions here. Hey, didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell you, doggone it, maybe for the first time ever in your marketing history, you've got a leadership team that's going to be here, that's going to pour into you, that's going to give, because we know as we give, we'll get. I told you, when we say let's change the world together, starting with yours, that's not just some empty saying. We really mean that. Thank you, Louise, for being so giving here. Let's see what other questions we have. How long did it take you to get your 200, someone said 200 plus, Safelist that you're using? I know you've got like 50 to 75 that you routinely work with. How long did it take you before you got all that organized together?
It doesn't take long at all, because if I get out my emails like I did this morning in an hour and a half, I'll get to some more of my work that I do, and then later on in the day, if I've got some spare time, I'll go back into one of those those four email boxes that I've got full of Safelist, and I'll just keep on sending off solos. I'll send off emails from those lists in there, and that's where the other 250 are. You open so many emails, and as I said before, 50% of what you're going to see is another Safelist. Join it. Use up the free advertising they're offering. They'll always give you a little promo code, and that will set you up in the new Safelist with some free advertising. Use it. It's free. And if you can't be bothered clicking, join another one. Use it. Free advertising. Send out those solo emails. Get them out there. Get your, free is always better, but you join one, look, I can join 20 in, 30 minutes and have my ads already out there. It's quite simple once you're used to it. You join, you put your name in, you put your email address in, that verification email's in your email box, 1 second later, open it up, put your ad in, send it out, right, next one.
Stuff, good stuff, good stuff, good stuff. Someone came on a little bit late. They asked, you did mention this, but they asked, what is your take on Safelist marketing compared to, let's say, traffic exchanges? Where have you gotten your best results?
Okay. With traffic exchanges, you need to promote traffic exchanges. By promoting traffic exchanges to traffic exchanges, you build downlines in all your traffic exchanges. Those downlines, when they click, they earn you credits. So you have to have large downlines in all your traffic exchanges to actually make them work. Well, I don't do that. It's very rarely that I'll actually promote a Safelist, because I'm too busy concentrating on my business to spend, because I spend a lot of time promoting. So I found I am a member of quite a few TEs, but the results that I get from TEs because I don't have huge downlines in all of them, is very, very minuscule, extremely minuscule compared to the results that I get in a Safelist. And it's free advertising.
And again, what have those results been in less than 3 weeks? 135 personally sponsored. That's 135 personally sponsored. How'd you do it, Louise? 90% of it came through Safelist. Okay, Louise, I'll be doing some Safelist marketing. I mean, really, guys, do you understand how powerful that is? You're talking about 100% match on 135 folks. Now, it's like anything else. It's a numbers game. We know, not every one of those 135 folks are going to wake up and start building a business right away, what have you. We understand that. But do you have a better chance with the 135 personally sponsored, with some folks waking up and you getting those matches, than if you had 5? Yeah. So Safelist marketing, we'll add that to our arsenal. Sonia Cox is asking, I don't know if it's Sonia or Sonia, so forgive me, Mrs. Cox. Pictures, color labels, or anything similar to that in an email, does that not alert the spam police? Are you not concerned about that HTML or putting pictures in there? Pictures and labels and things like that, I highly suggest not to put them in emails, because, well, Safelist won't let you do it to start with. All right, if you're going to send an email from your Gmail account to somebody else's Gmail account, it's not going through a Safelist, you're able to put in images and pictures. But the thing is, most of Safelists, but they don't let images show unless you actually tick to display those images. So, and if a busy person doesn't tick that, and they don't see the images at all. They don't see them anyway. But you are not able to send images and pictures in through Safelist. Gotcha. Okay. Somebody's pretty new to the internet. They work a full-time job, let's say a 9-to-5 type job. Should they consider Safelist marketing?
And it comes back down to what suits you. I mean, okay, so with Safelist marketing, there is some organisation that has to be taken into consideration. You have to get your emails organised. You have to get signed up, which really doesn't take that long. You've got to filter. But once you get those basic organisational structures of your business down and done, you're going to find it so quick to do these things, because, as I said, it's a copy and paste. You keep your emails in one place, you keep and you edit them whenever you want, but from there on in, when you're sending out a solo, all you've got to do is open that Safelist, get to the page, copy, paste, send, copy, paste, send, copy, paste, send. You can do so many in such a short time, but it's depending if you can be bothered, basically, of setting up, doing the setting up and organisation of it.
And once again, guys, I would say this, all right, whether you're Safelist marketing, whether you're Twitter marketing, whether you're YouTube, whether you're Facebook, your Skype, whatever your medium or mediums of choice happen to be consistent. Treat it. This is a Louise, this is a multi-million dollar producing business. Remember this, that everybody who joins you in 1X and your team in 1X, they're also being placed in QL Exchange, which most of us haven't seen that compensation plan. I have, and it is crazy. And so you're building 2 income streams. You will be building 2 very massive income streams. Treat this like a multi-million dollar business. So you tell me, I'm new to the internet, all right? And for those of us who say I don't have any friends or family left, again, of these 135 folks, Louise, how many of these folks did you know previously?
Less than 5%.
All right, less than 5%. So 95% of the folks that have joined Louise in the last less than 3 weeks have come because of marketing. Safelist marketing being one of her top forms of marketing. So I'm new to the internet. I'm not that good at the internet yet. I'm not good at recruiting, sponsoring, or selling. I don't have a lot of friends and family that are entrepreneurs or what have you. Can you take, whether it's 30 minutes, an hour and a half a night, treat it like you would, if you were working a part-time job? You know, I'm going to spend this hour and a half. And let me say this even, Louise. I want you on every webinar. It helps my ego when I see how many people come on the webinar. So, okay, I get my little ego boost. But here's the bottom line, ladies and gentlemen. We're Monday through Thursday night. All right, it's going to be the same presentation webinar. Now, I'd love to see you come on there, but there's nothing that says that if you came on there just to kind of wave and say, I'm here and I'm here to be a support, that you're not now going back to doing your Safelist marketing. I mean, you don't need to see that same slide. You've seen that same slide before. Now, but it is important that you...
Lamont, while you're doing your webinars, I'm still working. I'm listening to everything that you're saying, but I'm still working. So, you know, it's a matter of organisation. I can still go to any webinar and listen to anything that's going on, and I'm always on webinars. But I'm listening while I'm still working because, you know, you really don't need many... you don't need much concentration to be able to copy and paste, click send, copy and paste, click send. So you can watch and listen to webinars at the same time.
Good stuff.
Women can multitask.
No, having said that, I think either coming to the live or the recorded webinar once or twice a week really helps you just to stay invigorated, because you're gonna have situations. You went to work. If you're still working a job, you had a bad day. You need to come where there's a group of people that motivate you, that reignite you. I can tell you, every time we do a presentation webinar, we do 7 of them a week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday during the day, Monday through Thursday at night. So I'm doing 7 1X webinars a week, and I get pumped up all over again.
Yes, absolutely, Taylor. That's why I don't like to miss yours, because it does. It puts that affirmation back. If you ever get a doubt in your head, come to a webinar, because T. Lamont can just put that affirmation straight back into you, and it gets you riled up. You want to go out there. You want to promote. You want this business to work, because this, as he said, this is a multi-million-dollar business that you've got the opportunity to make work for you. Is that worth a little bit of effort? Is that worth jumping through a few hoops? Absolutely.
Someone is asking about that site that you mentioned about the splash pages. Will they find that at your togetherweearn.com site?
Yes, it is, and I'll tell you what it is. It's Mozilla. You know, Firefox, the browser. They have a free download called SeaMonkey, SeaMonkey, and that is what you see is what you get, HTML editor. And what I mean by that is that you might like to type something on the page and change it here and add color and whatever, but the system is actually making the HTML for you. So you don't have to know HTML coding to be able to make a splash page. You just need to know what looks good, where you want it, and the colors, and the HTML is written for you.
If someone was going straight to your site, where would they find that? If they were
under free website tools.
Hold on, give me a moment. Is that over here on the left? Right here?
I can't see anything. I've still got the, oh, okay, yep, okay, so you go up to free website tools?
Yep.
Which is, where is it?
Give me a moment. It is, whoops, sorry.
Where
right
is
here,
it?
You see that?
Oh, there. Okay, it should be on the top. But yeah, free website tools, and that's a whole list of different tools, you know, graphic tools and tools that I use for my business. Everything that I use is in here.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay. All right, here. I think you answered this question before. Someone's asking, are you sending the same email out to all 75 lists, or do you change up the list every single day?
I send out the same one for a while, and if I find that, you know, it might be 2 or 3 days or a week later, I might change things, change the font, change the wording, just a few tweaks here and there. But if it's working, you know, don't change anything that's working until it stops working.
Okay, okay. Patricia, is that Ralston? I'm not sure if that question is for me, if that question is for Louise. If that question is for me in terms of our email list, if you've already opted in here, you won't need to opt in again, but you should remember if you did or not once you go here. That's our team's opt-in email list, okay? And again, guys, anyone who opts in there, we're not sending any personal referral, anything through there. That is just to keep you up to date with our live webinars. And let me tell you how important it is to opt in. Today is a good example. Many folks have been used to getting a message from GoToWebinar about our upcoming webinar. You would get the link and so on and so forth. Because of the error that I made in that link expiring, if you were not opted in, you may not have known that we had a different webinar link today. Those who are opted in, we send out 2 posts. One, we normally send out a post throughout the week, Monday through Friday. We normally send out a post somewhere about between 10 and 12, 10 a.m. Eastern, 12 noon Eastern, and then we'll normally have a second post in the afternoon. A lot of times it's the same information. It's just so that because we've got an international audience, so maybe you missed the first post. If there is new information, we'll normally let you know if that's in the second post, if that's some new information, okay? So yeah, just make sure you're subscribed. Make sure all your folks are subscribed. Again, you can feel confident that if you and your team subscribe there, that we won't be pitching them on you know, our links or anything like that, okay? That's just to help our team. Guys, I tell you what, we're going to give it 5 more minutes because Louise has been very, very giving of her time, and we want to make sure she can get back to what she was doing. Okay, give us just a moment. Mark O'Brien, so you're saying, Louise, that what you should be doing is directing people to your own capture page to promote your BizOp as opposed to your direct BizOp opportunity and building your list. Is that correct?
Absolutely. No matter what you're promoting, you should never, if possible, you should never send people straight to that website, front page of that website. Yes, they might go in your downline, but they're not in your list. The idea is to build your list and then market to your list because they're the first people that you're going to introduce anything new to. So if possible, always make a capture page, grab those prospects' email details and names, details, put them in your autoresponder, and this makes the whole page yours. It's your unique page with your image. You're branding yourself as a professional marketer. And that's most important. And the more they see your image, the more they see your capture pages, the more they see your image, the more they're going to take notice of you.
And those of you, again, you've got Louise's site there, so you can pick up some tools. We'll be also sharing some lead capture page building tools. There's a phenomenal tool that we ran across some time ago that allows you, even let's say if you had a blog or you had even if you were marketing your sending people to your actual sign up page with QL Exchange or 1X, where you could actually have a pop-up there, and you can have a video there, you can have an audio there, you can even have an opt-in form popping up right there. So we'll be introducing to you. And again, earlier on, our whole focus was getting people in the business, helping you understand the compensation plan for round 1 and round 2. Now that round 1 is done, round 2 will probably be sometime early in the week. Now we can start to focus on building the team, helping you develop the marketing skill sets. Remember this. If you don't know how to market, it doesn't matter what you're marketing.
Mm.
But the reverse of that is also true. Once you learn how to market, it doesn't matter what you're marketing.
Exactly. Exactly.
Some dude made millions of dollars marketing a pet rock. My gosh, he understood marketing. Yeah, and so our whole endeavor here with our team is, yes, we believe that 1x QL exchange gives us a phenomenal opportunity, 100% match, give, get, all those great things you hear us say, several times a week. At the same time, we also understand that we want to assist you in building these marketing techniques. I'm not the Safelist king. We now know who the Safelist queen is, so we need to call her Queen Safelist. We know who Queen Safelist is. And just like Queen Twitter and King Facebook and what have you, we're going to introduce you to a number of different marketing techniques and strategies. You'll find the ones that fit your time horizons. You'll find the ones that fit your temperament. And as Louise said, the ones you're good at, the ones that you can commit to being consistent with, and you'll just run with them. And bottom line, we're going to change the world together, and it's going to start with yours. Okay? I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, there's so many more questions here. I want to be respectful of everyone's time, Louise's time. I want to thank Louise for taking time out of her busy schedule, putting together the PowerPoint, which obviously took time there, and just being so giving, which is one of the reasons why she's also winning. If you want to win, you got to give. All right. Now I'm not just talking about keys now. You have a marketing skill set, or you've come up with, you've got something that's working for you. I want you to get in that Skype room and let some other folks know. Give some other folks hope that didn't have any friends or family left, didn't know much about marketing, couldn't get the YouTube thing done right, or they didn't want to put their mug in front of a camera or what have you. Get in that Skype chat room and find out what other folks are doing that are successful. Just do me a favor again. Remember, we're going to keep everything positive. No pitching. We're going to keep everything positive, no pitching, okay? With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's just give you a couple last announcements. Yes, please, guys, if we didn't get a chance to get all your questions, so many in here, join us in the Skype room. Yeah, go on and tell Louise what a wonderful job she's done. I can read it. Thank you, Louise, Mark O'Brien, Thomas D. Simone. I like that name. Thank you, Louise. Much appreciated. Daniel Gosling, thank you. Good job. Dean Galloway, great informative call. Thanks, guys. Guyettes. Patricia, thank you. Jody, thank you. Rhonda Wiley, awesome tips and information. Vivian Diaz, thank you. Christian Dumas, Louise is the bomb. Oh, let me give you a marketing tip as you guys are saying this. Notice, some of you said some different things. Some of you said thank you, and that was nice. The others of you said something like, this lady is awesome, or Louise is the bomb. I want you to get used to saying things that most people don't say. For instance, Louise, if someone asks my sons, they're 13 and 15, how they are doing, my sons are prohibited from saying fine. My sons are prohibited from saying okay. Because
it's not different. It's not different. Yeah.
You got to leave an impression. You got to leave an impression.
Stand out. Yeah, stand out in the crowd. Otherwise, you're going to be lost in it.
Exactly. Great, guys. I appreciate that. You got so many fans here. T. Lamont needs to hit the unemployment line because we only want to hear from Louise from now on. Okay. All right. So you stand it out.
Hey, T. Lamont.
Yes, Uncle Roo.
Yeah, I just want to tell Louise, after I saw her picture pop up there.
Oh my gosh, be careful. Somebody already said, I don't know what you said when I walked away. Somebody said, get a room. What did you say, Uncle Roo?
I did not say anything anywhere near something along that line. But
okay, all right.
I wanted to say, when I saw Louise's picture pop up, I noticed that I had seen her before on some Safelist and things that I do. I've seen you, Louise, so.
Thank you, Tina. Thank you, Uncle Roo. And you see, this is the thing about the image, your image. If you use your image, people are going to start recognizing you, putting your name to that image, and the more they notice you, it's so important, branding. It is very important. But thank you so much, T. Lamont, for having me on. I appreciate the invite.
Thank you, Louise. And just to give you a quick announcement, again, make sure, guys, if you are not on Skype, go to Skype.com. Go to Skype.com, free download. Go on and become a member of Skype. Then send me a message. You can add contacts almost like Facebook, where you're adding friends. Add me as a contact at GIF-PM. Let me know you're in 1X, and then we will put you in the Skype chat room. Louise is there very often. Other great leaders, Queen Twitter's in there. Dave Kaninsky's in there. Margaret Wilson's in there. George Clark is in there. Amber and Kelvin. Just a tremendous leadership team that's in there, so that we can assist each other, all right, in building our organizations. This coming week, we're going to use the same webinar link that you are at today, and this will be our new link. We've got Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon Eastern. And remember, when we send out our posts, we always send out a time and date link so you can see what noon your time means. That will be a presentation. All presentations are designed to reignite our existing members, as well as to introduce our new guests to 1X/QL Exchange. This week, we have Monday through Thursday as a presentation, again, for our existing members and guests, reignite our existing members, and then for a presentation for our new guests at 9 p.m. Eastern. Okay. This coming Tuesday, Queen Twitter will start a Twitter training. Queen, am I right on that?
Yes, you are correct on that.
Okay.
I have agreed. He's formally
Okay. All right. That's going to be at 10:15 p.m. Eastern. So right after we come off of the Tuesday night webinar at 9, we'll finish up about 10 and some change. Then we're going to go over to the Twitter training. Let me give you that. That's a different link, because with that particular training, we're offering that to other people that are not in 1X. And so we will keep that generic. We won't necessarily be saying a lot about 1X or QL Exchange. That would be a great time for you to invite other marketers that you know of that maybe haven't heard your 1X message just yet. Maybe they haven't bought into it. Invite them to that training, and so they can see the type of training they're going to get if they join you. So now it's you're being the leader. You're inviting them to this very special training with one of your associates or with one of your teammates. Now notice this, Uncle Roo, on the presentations, we've been talking about Dr. Cho. We tip our hat off to you, Dr. Cho. You've given away, you and your team, 15,000 keys. Proud of you, Dr. Cho. And you guys have filled up 30 different matrices. Is Dr. Cho on my team?
No, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We're all, no, that's right.
Yeah, we're all part of the same family, all right?
Yeah.
Now, when I do that, though, are there people now thinking, yeah, I need to be a part of Club 100? Hey, man, Club 100 is only giving away 10 keys. This dude gave away 15,000. Sure. So Queen Twitter is a part of she's a part of your global leadership team. Queen Safelist is a part of your global leadership team. Uncle Roo is part of your global. See, you're so awesome. You are just so fantastic. You got a whole global leadership team. You live in the U.S. and a part of your global leadership team is in Australia. Gosh, you are.
I'm so looking forward to that.
Phelps.
I'm so looking forward to that Twitter training, Queen.
Give me a moment. Let me get that Twitter. Queen, you don't happen to have that right in front of you, do you? If not, I'll go to webinar and get that. You'll be able to use joinwebinar.com. Obviously, we'll send out the links. Again, that's a different link than this one. Let me give you the code there. Give me a moment. I have to get into it. I'm almost there, ladies and gentlemen. Guys, I am really excited about the powerful folks that we've got as a part of our leadership team. This is absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Okay, almost there. We'll have it in just a moment. Okay, so that's going to be Tuesday, 10:15 p.m. You can go to joinwebinar.com. You can actually register for this tonight. And this is your webinar ID. That's not a phone number. That's a webinar ID. You don't have to put those dashes there. I just did that so it's easier for you to see. Joinwebinar.com, 532-423-235. And if all of this worked right, this whole webinar training has been recorded. So prayerfully it all worked right. So it has been recorded. We'll get it rendered sometime later on in the week. We are very, very close to being able to launch our team's presentation site. I want to thank Kelvin and Amber, I believe it's Jones. Is that the right last name? Is it Kelvin Amber Jones? I think it is. That put up our temporary site. We're very, very close to our regular presentation site. That we're going to use the same 1xsizzle.com. We're just going to point it to a different place. And that's what we've been showing when you guys would come on to the, before the webinars would get started, and we would show you this that you'll see in just a few moments. Okay, this is just about ready to go. Waiting for our programmer to do just a couple things here. We'll put some training there, just like what we've done tonight. We'll, slice and dice and put some training material there so people will see the types of things that they're going to get when they join you in 1x/QL Exchange, plus some testimonies. This is the one thing I would ask. If you are good, if you know how to do a YouTube video or some type of video, it doesn't even have to be YouTube, I would love to get some testimonials that we can put up on the testimonial page from all across the globe. So we've got some from Louise, we've got yours from Australia, we've got Israel from Mark Hoffman, we've got some folks in the U.S. That testimonial can be everything from your excitement about 1xQL Exchange, made some money, all that good stuff, to finally you found a team, you found a leadership team, or you've connected with other leaders that are helping you build your organization or helping your teammates build their business or what have you. I'd love to, and keep in mind now, how much credibility does that give you, Uncle Roo, if someone goes to that testimonial page you sent them and they see your video there?
I will be doing another one, T. Lamont. Yeah,
wonderful.
I'll be doing redoing that one.
Wonderful. So, all right, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Louise. Thank you, Uncle Roo. Thank you, Queen Twitter. We'll see you, some of you, tomorrow at 12 noon. Have an awesome week. We love each and every one of you. Let's change the world together, starting with yours. Good night, everyone.
Have a
good night.
The organizer has